I'm going to call this heart to heart. I've never, ever really truly experienced the hate. I never, ever really truly experienced the separation, the discord, the disparaging comments, the falsifying of information, the accusations that has been levied against me, people just flat out lying on me. I never experienced any of this in life until I came to the faith. Even as a Christian, when I came to the faith, immediately my family started separating from me. All because I did one thing when I was in the faith, when I came to Jesus, Yeshua. What I did was I started keeping the commandments. I started keeping that Sabbath day, that 7-day Sabbath. And while doing this, my family decided that they were going to separate from me. And I mean, separate from me, they did. And I just don't understand why it's such an evil thing in this generation to want to not only live the truth, come to the truth, and continue to keep growing in the truth. But I do know this. I realized a long time ago that if they call Jesus Beelzebub, what they think they're going to call you. Then I was reading the book, and I realized something. I realized that if they called the master of the house all these things, and if they treated him like it, and if they crucified, this world did. Really, it was his people. If they crucified the Holy One of Israel, who went about doing good, healing all that were oppressed of the devil, no evil, nothing, anything. And I'm telling you, I can't say that. I mean, I can't say I have ever been without sin. That's not me. But Jesus was, and they killed him. This world killed him dead. His people killed him dead and used the government to do it. Rome at that time. And the Bible even said he came to his own, and his own received him not. But then it says, but as many as received them, to them gave he them the power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. And so I understand what's going on clearly. I do. I'm sorry that a lot of people are literally mad, upset, and all in an uproar about me shining a light on the wickedness of your holidays, the way that you twist, warp, and distort the Bible, your preachers and teachers. And I'm going to tell you again, in Christianity, these people, it's not in their best interest to tell you the truth. It's not. Because they have a bottom line, and they have a career. To tell the truth is career changing. You think that these Christian ministers and preachers and teachers are going to stop Christmas and Easter and Sunday when that's the time they rake in the most money and the most funds? It doesn't profit them to tell you the truth. It's a business. And so they treat it as such. And it's their livelihood. And they're not about to give up this livelihood of lies just in order for you to be free and to know that you're doing the truth. The Bible says that the true worshipers are they that will worship him in spirit and in truth. Of course, then you see the false balance. You'll hear people that say they have the spirit, but they don't have the truth. And then you'll people who say, you'll hear them say they have the truth, but they don't have the spirit. And of course, what does the Bible say? The Bible says that Yah hates a false balance. He does. But anyway, I'm sorry that many of you are upset and you can't handle the truth. I'm sorry about that, but I make no apologies for that. Your feelings and emotions has nothing to do with this. And I often said it. And if I said it once, said it 1,000 times, I'm going to say it again. If I am so wrong about the doctrine that I preach and teach, I'm a pretty rational man. I'm a pretty level-headed guy. All you have to do is just open up that Bible and prove to me from that book, and you'll have a friend with Pastor Dowell. I promise you, if I am in darkness and if I am deceived, because I know you're deceived, Because I've been the places you are. I've been the places where I celebrated and went to church on Sunday. I celebrated Easter. I celebrated Christmas. I know the Baptist and Church of Christ doctrine. I know the Pentecostal and Apostolic doctrine. I know your doctrine better than your preachers and teachers do. It's just that I'm willing to tell the truth in spite of the stigma, the negative stigma, and the opposition that comes. I have learned this too. I thought that if people love Jesus, that they would love talking about him. Come to find out that people hate talking about the real Jesus. And then, of course, Mark says in Mark 7:9, "For you reject the commandment of God, that you may keep your own traditions." Sounds like what Paul said to the assembly or the church of Colossians when he says, "You beware," in Colossians 2:8, "You beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of this world," that's the laws of this world, "and not after Christ." I challenge you on this. If all you Christians out there, you think you're so right, let's hit the three main pillars of your theology: Christmas, Easter, and Sunday. Don't sit up there and read stuff into the text. Don't sit up there and import stuff into the text. Read the meaning out of the text. Use proper interpretation. Where are the instructions in there that tells us to celebrate Jesus, a resurrection? Where is it? In the whole Bible, where is it? But however, I can show you where it says you show forth his death till he come. Where is it? Where are the instructions that tells us that we should celebrate his birth? Where? Where are the instructions for Christmas? See, people are importing ideas into the text. It's not in that Bible. You can't find it. Where does it tell you to celebrate Easter? I mean, surely the prophets, the law, all the apostles, surely they would have given us the instructions for these things, yet and still we don't find them there. So why you get mad and angry at me? Because I remind you that Christianity, if you would do your own due diligence and you would study this out, is a satanic pagan religion. Now, I believe that many of you are sincere in your personal belief to God. I really believe that. And I believe that while being sincere, you can be sincerely wrong. You've got one life to live. I do too. And I realize that I have probably the most thankless calling in the world, a pastor. I mean, if I wanted to and I want peace in my life, real peace, besides the peace that I have with walking with the Messiah, all I got to do is just go buy me a piece of land, cabin, something like that, farm it, leave everybody alone. Don't say another word. Don't say another word on YouTube because I wouldn't know what has been said about me. Don't say nothing on the internet. Stop preaching, teaching, and I can live out my days in peace and serenity. However, there is this burden that is laid upon me that I get no release. I get no peace at all unless I proclaim and herald this truth. I mean, it's on me, kind of like white is on rice. And the only time I ever get a release is when I tell the truth. So I guess that's my relief valve, is the truth, because I can't stop telling it simply because you don't like it. I've been dealing lately with the roles of women in the house because the Bible clearly tells you what it is. You know what the new doctrine is? The new doctrine is that wives don't have to obey their husbands because they said that they prayed about it and Jesus said they don't have to obey their husbands. God said they don't have to obey their husband. That is a familiar spirit. That is a satanic, wicked spirit. That's what that is. And so, hey, a lot of people got to go to hell. They do. They simply got to go. I realize that. It's going to be more going to the pit than they are going to be in the kingdom. It's only going to be a remnant. But since you got this one life to live, I think you ought to sincerely take a very good look at this breath that you have on loan from God. And I think you should do your due diligence in what you can to prove all things and hold fast that which is good, because the people who say they love you the most and you think they care about you, they've been lying to you. and they've been lying to you in a bad way.